books that I read for the last 40 years. And today I have my special guest. He's the author of the book, It's a Great Life If You Don't Weaken. And no other than Mr. Brian Hampton.
Wow, thank you, Daniel. Thanks for having me on your highly acclaimed show.
Welcome to Book 101, Mr. Brian. And can you please introduce more about yourself?
Sure, thanks again. I've had many different jobs and occupations, but I decided at the age of 81 to write a life empowerment book, and now published by a premier international publisher. It deals with how to deal with distressing people and circumstances we all encounter far too often.
Hmm. And can you tell us about that, Mr. Brian, about that book?
Sure, there are hundreds of techniques there for dealing with distressing people and circumstances we all encounter far too often. How to deal with doctors, dentists, lawyers, rude people, plumbers, insurance companies, veterinarians, bad customer service, the government. There are a couple hundred techniques in the book that I've developed based on personal experience, Daniel.
Mr. Brian, thank you so much for sharing your book to the world, as well as your knowledge and wisdom. Tell us how to deal with rude people.
That goes right to the core, Daniel. A very good question. Um, my third chapter deals with how to deal specifically with difficult people. We don't want to carry around a slight, but there are a lot of nasty people out there. And the key I've found, Daniel, is when you're in an unavoidable confrontation to make it about them and not about yourself. Because if you're talking about yourself, I feel this, I did this, I feel that, you're on the defensive. But if you make it about them, leave the ball in their court, they're on the defensive. So you often have to say to somebody, this issue is not about me, this issue is about you.
So, what are your struggles in writing this book, Mr. Brian?
Boy, that's a great question, Daniel. Um, I found that writing the book, Daniel, was 5% of the effort to get it published. As you no doubt know, and your listeners and watchers know, uh, publishers really don't do any marketing. So they expect you to be on TV every other week. They expect you to have a 500,000 followers. So, as a first time published author, I had to convince the premier publisher to publish it. And it was 5 years in the making.
5 years in the making, indeed. And how do you categorize your book, Mr. Brian? Is it self help
Thank,
or
thanks for all these good questions. That's a very good one. All the self-help books out there suggest and tell us to look within. But my book is not about looking within. My book is about dealing with all the difficult predicaments and circumstances and people who are out there. So it's really a different genre. It's a life empowerment book, much different than all the self help books out there.
so, Mr. Brian, if you compare your book to Mr. Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich, What's the big difference?
Boy, that's one of the 3 or 4 or 5 books that I compare mine to Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich, written in 1937, written more books, nonprofit or non-fiction than any other book. And I have a check. Napoleon Hill talks about the mastermind. His key, and he interviewed like 100 millionaires, and he found that every millionaire had one thing in common. They all had their own mastermind group, but he never got around to really explaining the details of how you create and run a mastermind group. So I have a chapter. Boy, that's a great question. I have a chapter on creating and running your own mastermind group that details who should be a member, how often you should meet, what the agenda should be, and that type of thing.
Mr. Brian, can you read your favorite chapter of the book?
My favorite chapter, boy, all these great questions, Daniel. That's wonderful. My favorite chapter is chapter number 2, and it's called "What Do You Say When People Ask You, How Are You?" Because as we know, a lot of people every day say, "How are you?" Like when we go through the grocery market line, they say, "How are you?" And they don't really want to know. So I've come up with about 12 answers that people can use to respond to people who don't really want to know. You could say, for example, better than ever, making money, having fun, top notch, whatever. But it's kind of a whimsical chapter dealing with people who ask that question and don't really want to know, Daniel.
Mr. Brian, as an author, what are your short term and long term goals?
I wrote the book, Daniel, for the purpose of making a positive difference in the lives of other and getting the satisfaction out of that. And I've worked on the marketing for a year. I've spent a lot of time on marketing. I found that podcasting is the best way to go. My objective is to make a positive difference in the lives of others by reading the book. And thanks to you, I'll get the word out in the book and make a positive difference and get some satisfaction from it, Daniel.
Good luck to your goals, Mr. Brian. And what is your piece of advice for those people out there who want to write their own book too?
Well, there are 2 million books published, as you know, Daniel, every year, and it's hard to get readers. But stay with it. Your story is worth telling. It's your legacy for your children, your grandchildren, your great grandchildren, and it's a wonderful thing, as you would know, to write a book and get it out there for people to read and understand.
Well, thank you for your advice, Mr. Brian. And can you please invite our listeners to support your book itself?
Wow, thank you. It's like you said, it's a great life if you don't weaken. How to deal with the ups and downs in life and the jerks in between. It's on Amazon, Barnes and Noble. My website is brianauthorhampton.com. I get emails through that, Daniel.
Yes, people, let's support Mr. Brian Hampton because if you support him, more and more and more empowering self help books to come. So, Mr. Brian, thank you so much for your time.
God bless you, Daniel. Thank you so much. I really enjoyed it.
More to come, people. See you soon.